Michael, and welcome to the Circus Hubs class for today, Friday the 17th of April, which is Juggling and Manipulation. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you check out the Circus Hub, the website, Facebook page, for all that good stuff that we have. Sorry about that, I just had my own video playing. Okay, cool. Alright, so, trying slightly different location today. So, today, we have got a few things that I want to have a go with. So, for the beginners, we've got a little pattern, which I'm calling the W. For the jugglers out there, you'd know this is 4, 2, 3, but just wanted to keep it nice and simple for the beginners. So we're going to have a look at that, a nice little pattern to have a play with. Then for intermediate jugglers, we're going to have a look at some 5-ball drills, just using 3 balls still. And we'll have another look at Mills Mess, see if we can get some of those steps coming together. And then some contact juggling, so contact ball, so we're going to have a look at stalls. And then at the end, we're going to have a little play with some club balances. So remember, if you haven't got juggling gear for juggling balls, you can just use some pairs of socks. Then for a contact juggling, you can use an orange or any nice round piece of fruit. And then if you haven't got a juggling club for the end, something like a wooden spoon, some sort of utensil that's long and not pointy. I do not want you to play with pointy things at this point of your juggling journey. But yeah, cool. There is a little brief outline, but let's just limber up a little bit, get our necks nice and warm. You can squeeze the back of your neck and nod that up and down. Roll your head from side to side. Roll your shoulders back. You can go hands on shoulders. Roll your elbows back. And nice big arms. And let's test this one out. I think I introduced you to last week. Hand comes in front of the face, behind the head. Goes up straight, drops down to the side. Other side, hand comes up in front of the face, around the back of the head. Go straight, drop down to the side, let it swing up in front of you. And then try alternating arms. And then just speed that up. Okay, hopefully that's got you nice and warmed up. So, for the beginners section today, we're going to have a look at the W. So, what you'll need to start, 2 juggling balls. And we're going to, I'll show you the pattern first that we're going to work on, is like this. So you can see the 2 balls on the outside going straight up and down, while the ball in the middle is crossing. That's what's going to give us our nice little W pattern. Now I like this. It seems like, I feel like this is a slower juggling pattern than a normal cascade, but it definitely is a totally different pattern that takes a bit of time to get used to. So let's just warm up. We're going to do some straight throws from one hand back down to the other. Now, a few things we want to think about with this. One is, you want this to be a nice height. Not too low. That's going to make this pattern really fast and rushed. You want to be able to have a nice slow pattern. And the second thing is, so nice height, so probably just above your eye level. And I want you to think about this straight up and down, kind of being on the outside of your pattern. If we have a look at something we worked on last week, columns in one hand. want you to see that there's an inner ball and an outer ball. So what we're going to use for this W pattern is we want that straight throw to be on the outer side. So we don't want to be throwing it straight up in front of us. This is going to be a bit easier for you in the next step if you do it a bit wide. Let's practice that on the other side as well. Try and see if you can get that nice high straight throw on your left side as well. And then you could probably spend a couple of minutes practicing this, just doing a straight throw on the outside and each hand trying to alternate this. Because if we look at that W pattern again, it goes one side, then the other. So if we just practice those for a couple of minutes. Now remember, if you're watching this live, I'll probably move too fast for this for you. But if you are watching this at a later date, feel free to stop now, practice this straight throw in both hands until you get comfortable with that. You want this to be really solid before you introduce the next step. But yeah, if you're ready, if you think that throw is good, our second throw that we need is just a nice cascade throw in the middle. But one difference is, normally with the 3-ball cascade, you've got all the balls crossing through the middle, and you have to be aware of trying to make sure they don't crash into each other. Here, we can get this ball to follow a pretty similar path in the middle. So you don't need to worry about having 2 separate points for this one. In fact, I think if you have a nice central point to your W, that will help. And so that will mean as well, you don't need to worry about doing big scoops with your hands, but you kind of just want to catch it, throw it back. Okay, because then when you've got this outside ball, we don't want a big scoop here. We just want to be basically doing our straight up throw, our cross throw, straight up throw, across throw. So we're going to practice our across throw. Then if you want, you could practice all 3 throws. So straight up, straight across, straight up, straight across, straight up. So I want you to come back to this drill. If you're struggling with when we move on, just come back to this, put in a few minutes of this. Remember, all your juggling is just a bit of time and patience and focus. This is what juggling is really good for. It helps you focus your mind. You can't be thinking about other things that are going on. I just want you really concentrating on getting these nice throws going on. Now, when you feel like you've mastered that, you're feeling pretty comfortable with it, then you can move on to 2 balls for this pattern, okay? What we're going to be trying to do is I'm going to keep this blue ball as the crossing ball to the middle. Green ball is going to go up on the outside, come back to the same hand. So what you're going to do for this drill is going to be, you're going to throw the crossing ball first. While that's in the air, straight ball goes straight up. My hand will catch the crossing ball, the blue ball, send it back before this ball comes back to my hand. Demonstration. Okay. Crossing ball first. Now, it's definitely worth either starting with your least preferred hand, or make sure that you are mixing up your practice. Don't just focus on one good side, getting that good. Make sure you practice both sides. So crossing ball first, the other ball goes straight up. Oh. Make sure you're practicing that on both sides. So, a couple of things that will make this easier for you. This is where I said a nice high throw with the straight throw. If you're just doing a little one, you're going to feel really rushed, okay? So that's where you want make sure you're letting that ball go to high and you're not reaching up for it. As soon as you reach up there, you're taking away your time. You've got to be patient. Just really wait for that ball. You want to get that nice air time. Second thing is, if you rush your throws, this is going to be hard. You've got a lot of time between that first throw and before you send the second ball up. If you do it too quickly, that's going to rush you again. So you want to do your crossing throw and really give that some time to be in the air before you do your straight up throw. If I do them too quickly, I had to throw that high. I just kind of instinctively did that. I don't know if you can see that super well. But if you throw too early, that's going to be coming down. If you're finding you're having that problem. If you're waiting, no, you want to wait. If you throw too early, if you throw too early, it's going to be a rush. You really want to wait, give that time before you throw the second one. So those are my main pointers for this is make sure the ball stays on the outside of the pattern. Nice high straight throws. And then make sure you wait before you throw that second ball. You don't want to have to rush yourself. But then if you can do this solid on either side, I'd suggest practicing alternating as you're going. So you're going to be doing, start with your cross throw, straight throw, and then swap which hands you'll do it. So if you've got two coloured balls like I have, that means you'll be switching which one's crossing. So I'll try and show you that. So cross, straight, cross, cross, straight, cross, cross, straight, cross, cross, straight, cross. So, I know that looks nice and easy and smooth, but that will take you a bit of time and focus to get the hang of. When you start to really feel comfortable with this trick, you introduce the third ball, okay? So, definitely, if you're just starting this out, don't rush this. This is going to take a lot of time. Just practice those drills with two balls. Once you've done that, you got comfortable, you're ready for three. Come back, try this. 3 balls. Now this is going to be like normal juggling, that you're going to start with the ball with 2 hands, throw across, throw one straight up. It's probably good to just practice that a bit to get comfortable. Straight up, across, catching 2 in that hand, and you can. Okay, if that's feeling comfortable, all it is putting those 2 together. So whenever that ball's traveling across, you've got to free up that hand to catch it. Send it back, catch the ball that you threw straight up. So start with the crossing ball, straight, crossing, straight, crossing, straight, crossing, straight, crossing, straight. Okay, so that is the W, or 4-2-3 as jugglers might know it. Actually, coming up was the, sometimes they do 4-2-3 day in May. I'll just take a moment to explain what I mean by 4-2-3. So all juggling patterns can be broken down to numbers based on the types of throws that you're doing. So in this pattern, we have got the 4 is the straight up, the 3 is the crossing one, and 2 is actually what the other hand's doing. No, at the moment it's not doing much. So that's because if you had 2 juggling balls, you don't really have to do much. You can hold them in each hand, but you can do little things with them if you want. So I'm going to show you how you could use that in your 4-2-3, that you can turn those 2s. So that is that hand that's doing nothing. You can take some time to play with that. So I'll show you a little pattern with that. So all that is alternating that 2 between outs and ups. So yeah, you can then replace your 4s, your 2s, your 3s with anything you're comfortable with if you are familiar with side swap, but that's just an easy example of what this pattern can lead to. So I'm going to get a quick drink of water, give everyone a chance to shake their brains out. Let's shake out that pattern, shake out that pattern. Oof. I'm just going to blow my nose. Okay, so there we go. For our class plan, next we're going to look at some 5-ball drills using 3 balls. So, yeah, I thought I'd give you some stuff to work on. So, those of you who are more intermediate on their juggling journey but really want to push themselves, learning 5 balls is a great milestone for any juggler. Really helps you feel that sense of accomplishment because it does take a lot of time and training and focus to get a nice 5-ball pattern. And it's also kind of a lifelong journey for most jugglers. That even I am not fully happy with where my 5 ball's at. I put a bit of time into it now and then, but I'm always come back to it and feel like I can put more time, try and learn more with it. So it's a great thing to start on, and you can just keep going with it, really pushing yourself. But there's no point trying to juggle 5 balls, just going straight from 3 to picking up 5 and going for it. That's not going to get you very far. I would really recommend that you do work on 4 balls to help with your 5 balls, but what I want to give you for now is just some things that you can work on with 3 balls that will help you in your 5-ball journey. So now, like I was saying before, every juggling throw has a number attached to it. So 3 is that throw that crosses over, is about eye height. So I just want to introduce you to the concept of a 5. It's going to be the exact same pattern as your 3 ball. It's crossing over, but we just need to make that a lot higher. So it can be a little bit tricky to show you exactly how high and keep everything in frame. But you're going to be aiming for a bit over your head. So, and I said we were going to practice 3, but this is really something that when you're first starting out, you really want to just practice 1 ball, aiming for what I want you to think of as a 5. So that's just like your 3-ball pattern, just higher. So if you can practice that with 1 ball, just think of it as a nice high cascade throw. And you want to get that comfortable enough that you can catch that without having to step or reach for it. Now you can play with your height and learn to adjust it when you do 5. So I would just really recommend aiming for a good height that you can get accuracy. So it's definitely, I'd say within your reach. So you don't want to be juggling your 5 ball way up high, but like probably another head height above your head's a good spot to aim for. But as well, you can always learn to change your height, and that's a useful thing as well. So working on that accuracy now of maybe even having 2 slightly different heights that you can aim for, but really being able to hit those will really help you out. Now, once you get comfortable just doing that with 1 ball, I want you to try that from your 3-ball cascade, just trying to do that 1 high throw. and back into your cascade. And do it on the other side. So that's your first pattern. It's just pausing when you're doing your 3-ball juggling, just doing a high throw, pausing and waiting for that high throw, and carry on with your 3s. So you're just going to be doing normal juggling pattern, 5. I guess if you're going to break this down into side swap, you could technically think of this as 5-2-2. So because while you've got the 5 in the air, you're doing nothing. You're holding the balls. Those are 2s while you wait for that one to come in. So that's like the first step is you need to learn to be able to throw a 5. Just once, like I'd say with most things, you just want to get this with 1 ball first before you start to really try with 3. So once that is starting to get comfortable, then the next progression would be trying to do either 2 or 3 throws up high. So you could start with 2, and one of the difficulty becomes trying to throw different throws with different hands. So that's really something that takes a bit of time for your brain, gets into these habits, that then the hard thing becomes you're throwing 1 ball high, your 3s tend to chase up after them as well. So really learning to separate those is really valuable. So if you can do either 1, 2, or 3 high throws, so 1, make sure you can do that with both sides. Then 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Starting with both sides is really good. There's 2 very distinct 3-ball patterns with high throws that you can do. So the first one I want you to aim for is to be able to just do all your throws as high throws and just make that your juggling pattern super slow. So high throw, high throw, high throw, high throw, high throw. So with that, you can really work on your accuracy, and you can really focus on your arm movement. So you still want to keep this nice catch and scoop to throw the ball up. Catch and scoop to throw the ball up. So really work on that nice feeling of scoop, up, scoop, up. And you want that pattern to be nice, it'll be nice slow, and you can really focus on your arm movement. So those are just 3 high throws. Then the next one that I'd want you to try and get is called a 3-ball flash. So the difference is with the 3-ball flash, you want to do your 3 high throws, but at your normal juggling speed. That's going to give you a moment where your hands are free. Okay, so the difference is for our high throw, we are just working on getting that high throw, the accuracy. A 3-ball flash, you're having to think about that speed that you're going to need for 5 balls. Because when you're juggling 3 balls up high, the flash is the speed that you're going to need to do it. You're going to have that space for those other 2 balls. So I would probably recommend start this from a juggling pattern. So juggling, and you're going to try and do your 3 high throws at this speed of your cascade. Okay, just try it once at a time. Just try that 3-ball flash. 3-ball flash. Okay, so they're quite different between the 1, 2, 3 and flash. But the flash is going to be a really key one. They're both really important. Make sure you practice both. But that 3-ball flash is really going to help you get that speed up. I recommend really just aiming for 1 3-ball flash to start with. Just 1, 2, 3, go back to juggling. Then, once you're getting that tidy, you can try and do a second 3-ball flash. This is quite an important step for you to get for your 5 balls, because that's really going to mean you're able to catch a 5 throw and send it back up to that same spot. If when you start your flash, it's a bit messy, there's no point trying to return a 5 when you've been reaching out. You want to try and get that nice and compact in your juggling pattern that you're not reaching out, so you can then send back more consistent throws. This is where 5 balls is where you really learn that your accuracy, your consistency is key. You haven't got time in a 5-ball pattern to save something way out here. It's got to be on point. But yeah, you can also, when you start working really hard on your 5-ball pattern, is playing with whether you're doing a lower pattern, which keeps that accuracy a bit easier, but you've got less time to fix things, so you've got to keep it really accurate. You've got to keep it really consistent. Whereas if you take it a bit higher, it's a bit harder to be accurate. Any mistakes will be exaggerated, affect your pattern more, but it gives you a little bit more time to make changes. So I think working on both is good. So you can think about that with your 5-ball, with your 3-ball flash, is maybe have a lower one, and then maybe try and get a slightly higher one as well. Because I think learning that accuracy of being able to do it just that little bit higher will make your whole pattern more accurate, make it easier in the long run. So definitely work on both of these. So 3-ball flash, and just 3 high throws. When you're just doing the slower version, that's where you can really nitpick that accuracy. Really try and get those throws nice and accurate. And then when you go to 3-ball flash, you're getting that speed. You still want that accuracy there, but hopefully you've got that ingrained from having worked on that. So 5-ball drills so far, we've got high throw with 1, with 2, then all 3, then the flash. Next thing I want to look at is a pattern called a snake. Now, I'm going to drop down to 2 balls just to introduce this to you. I think that's worth starting out. So a snake pattern, if you've never done one before, is the balls basically follow each other. So if you see I throw 1, then the second one is chasing it round. I can choose to stop it, okay? So for 5 balls, you want to work on your snake, but that 5 throw. So that nice high throw, just above head level, probably another head. How big's my head? Above my head. Trying to get that nice and accurate. And those 2 balls are going to follow each other. So if you imagine we've got our cascade pattern, they're following each other around that loop. So I'm going to do 2 right hand throws, then 2 left hand throws. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Okay, now the snake pattern is great for, you can work on your accuracy because you get to do 2 of the same throws right after each other. And you can work on that speed because you've got that ball chasing the first one, that you need to get that first throw out again so you can do your second throw. This is where you're going to have to really use your concentration and be picky with your throws, because you're going to need to really drill that accuracy, get that accuracy on point so you can get this 5-ball pattern down. Now, if you get really comfortable with 2, you can do this pattern with 3 balls. Some people say this is a prerequisite for your 5-ball pattern. I didn't get this before I got a 5-ball pattern working, so I don't say you have to invest all your eggs in this, but this is a good practice drill for starting with 3 balls in one hand. So we should have a little look at this. Now, different jugglers might have different preferences with this, so there's definitely more than one option. I'm just going to show you what I do, and I actually changed this at one point. So initially, if we have a look at the balls in my hand, if we go back to how I hold two balls, I've got my little finger and ring finger holding this one in place, and I've got this little claw. I throw from the claw first. Then I put the third ball in here, and I initially was throwing this ball, um, but I found I don't have much control over that. That's like these two fingers are trying to help flick it up. And if your first throw out of your five ball pattern isn't good, you're done. Game over. I mean, it makes it harder for yourself if you're having to fix a pattern because that first throw's a mess. So I had to fix my one, and I started throwing this one first. So that's kind of where I'm holding the claw, the one that I was holding in the claw anyway. So I've still got this finger and thumb, so I can really try and control that first throw. I've got a lot more control. It's a lot more of a natural throw because I'm not doing anything weird with it. So that can be a great thing to practice, is just trying to get that first throw into a nice perfect five. You really want to be being able to see that spot that you need to hit. But then you can do a snake with three balls. So if you're getting that first throw really nice, then you just have to send those next two balls after it. And then you'll have a three ball snake. So remember, they're always chasing each other, which is quite useful for Mill's mess that we're going to move back to shortly. But yeah, this three ball snake is a great drill if you can get the hang of it, but it is a trickier one, so don't feel too disheartened with it. I would say the first thing to really focus on with it is just getting that first throw out super accurate. Then if you can follow that up with the second one, that's all good. And then eventually, if you can get that third one up, really try and hit those points, then you can get it to follow. Okay, now I know I've given you quite a few drills to play with for your five balls. I thought I'd give you something fun to play with as well. I think drills are super important for juggling. Like, if you really want to get it, you've got to have those drills. Set yourself a time. I like to set a 5-minute timer. Do one drill, 5 minutes, move on. If you're really wanting to get a 5-ball pattern, having 4 or 5 drills, 20 minutes a day, you just really work on those for those. Focus. Don't worry about it for the rest. Gives you really good structure, and you just really want to do that every day though. So you could do one high throw. Just practice this for 5 minutes. Really get that into your body. Then do 3 high throws. Just the slower pattern. Do that for 5 minutes. Then when you come to your 3-ball flash, boom, you're going to be nailing it. You're going to be right up there. There's something I didn't mention. Once you can do a 3-ball flash from your juggling pattern, it's good to practice your 3-ball flash from here. Just doing a 3-ball flash collect. So you could even do both those drills, do one, just whatever works for you. I think having a little bit of ability to mix it up keeps it fresh for you, but really having that structure makes sure you're covering all those things. You could work on a 2-ball snake to start with. Don't worry about the 3-ball snake until that 2-ball one is feeling flush. Alright? But I want to give you something a little bit more fun and different to play with, but that really comes from the similar area. and that's called a 5-3-1. So I've talked a couple of times about juggling balls having different heights. Side swap. 5-3-1 is a great one for you to learn, and this is really going to help you learn to separate those different throws that you're doing. So 5-3-1 is what it sounds like on the box. You're going to do a 5, so your high throw you've been practicing. 3, your normal cascade throw. And the 1 is our little zippity-doo-dah boy, okay? So 5-3-1 would look like this. Oh, okay, better just, I'm going to come out of a juggling pattern for this. So 5-3-1, 5-3-1. So you're getting that super high throw. You've got your super high throw, you've got a little cascade, and you've got a little zip underneath there. So 5-3-1, 5-3-1. So tricks with this is you really want to differentiate between your 5 and your 3. So a nice floaty 5 is good, gets a little more height on it. 3, maybe even a little bit lower than normal. Oh, there we go. So nice floaty. Oh. But yeah, like any pattern, breaking this down is going to be your best friend. So 3-1 is a great one to practice. So 3. So doing that normal throw and then just zip that one underneath. Practicing your 5-3. So doing a nice high throw. Now make sure you always practice all of these on both sides. So high throw, low one. High throw, low one. High throw, low one. High throw, low one. High throw, oh. So when you're trying to separate your 5 and your 3, really try and get that difference to be obvious, not around the same height. So we've done 3-1, 5-3. So you could practice your 5-1. But yeah, so then 5-3-1 will be your high throw, that zip. But the great thing is, like side swap, you can substitute any throw of that number in. So that's where you can get some really cool patterns coming out of this. So if you can do it behind the back 5 or behind the back 3 or under the leg 3. All right, I'll give that one a go. So if I do, oh, I got to get that zip in there. So 5-3. Okay, so that was me zipping the 1 under my leg, so I can do a nice high 5-3. Oh. But yeah, I'll let you guys play with that. You can figure out what tricks you can do with that. Let's just shake that out. Get a drink of water, refresh that brain. Okay, now, Mill's Mess I've been giving to you bit by bit, so I'm hoping you've been keeping up, otherwise you'll need to refresh some of this. So, just to a quick recap of Mill's Mess. You've got your cross arm throw. You're throwing from a cross arm, swapping your hands underneath, and catching in the opposite hand, but still on top. That's throw 1. Throw 2 is a reverse cascade throw. From arms open, catch with cross arms on the bottom arm. So arms open, bottom hand catches, and you're always swapping hands. And our third throw would be underarm, catch on top. Underarm, catch on top. Okay, so last week I gave you this drill to work on. We're doing our cross arm throw, opening our hands, reverse cascade to the middle. Both balls are going to swap hands. Cross arm throw first. So you see, I do my cross arm throw. I open my hands, do my second throw. So remember, for Mills Mess, we're wanting all our patterns, all of our throws to come down on the middle. And then our third ball was this one, which sometimes gets called the U-ball, because it is possible to do this under the arm throw and keep it a bit more on the outside. Now, that's how I learned it. I used that U-ball for ages. That was great until someone pointed out to me, you also want that one to follow the same pattern. The thing with Mills Mess that looks good is if we can get all these balls to chase each other like a beautiful rainbow, or a snake like we were talking about before. You're wanting the balls to travel in this pattern, following each other. So, if you can get this one working smoothly, now it's time to blow your brains and throw in the third ball. This does my head in a bit trying to break it down because it becomes so... Mills Mess is one that you can't think about very hard when you're doing it. You just got to get these into your body so it happens. But that's what we're trying to teach you. That's what I'm trying to give you steps to do. So, we're going to try and do all three throws. So, like we just practiced, over the top throw, open throw. I then now have one ball left, and I'm going to try and do an under the arm throw and catch that on top. So, I want you to really try and catch that last ball on the top hand is the one that's going to mess with your head to start with. So, cross throw, open throw, under the arm. If you can get those three throws down, drill that, you're going to be so pretty much there with Mills Mess, okay? But I'm going to give you one last thing to think about for your Mills Mess. If you're starting to master it, there's trying to start straight into Mills Mess. But then there's going into Mills Mess from a juggling pattern, okay? Both are useful, both are great to learn. So I just want to finish off Mills Mess, and please leave me comments, Circus Hub community, do a little video, put it on Instagram, show me where you're at with your Mills Mess, so I can give you some personal pointers on how to fix your pattern. But yeah, if you are trying to get this from your cascade, what I want you to do is really focus on doing that outside throw. Catching that underneath is going to be your first throw. So it's going to be that reverse cascade throw. Reverse cascade throw. Then I'm going to do reverse cascade throw under the arm. So the blue ball, reverse cascade, I do that under the arm. I'm just trying to slow that down for a moment. So reverse cascade, I'm going to do that under the arm. Then my arm's already crossed, so I can do that first throw of the cross arm one. But yeah, please let me know if Mills Mess is something that you're working on, that these tips are useful, that you're getting the hang of it. And I will help you out. Oh, hey, Alexandra, you just joined. Um, I went through some stuff at the start. If you rewatch, I think the W pattern will be a great one for you to work on. Or actually, now we're going to move on to some contact stuff. So that might be some other fun stuff for you to have a play with. So yeah, we've had a look at Mills Math. So open level contact, juggling, stalled. Oh. So I'm going to just have to strip down. Sorry for, should have stepped out of frame. So you need a round ball for this stuff. So I've got a lovely contact ball. You might have an orange, or you might have round juggling balls. These ones, selects from I got from Homer Poi. Shout out. These have a bit of liquid in them, which make things a bit easier for stalls and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to give you a 3-step process for learning any stall. Okay. First, for any stall, pick a point. So I suggest we today work on the inside elbow one. So you're going to pick a point. For this one, I'm going to hold my arm out straight. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but you can make a little divot in here. You want to keep your arm straight, and for me, it's just pulling down my little finger. It's not too important. The first thing we want to look at, though, is you're going to place the ball there and balance it. Okay? You can challenge yourself here. Can you turn in a circle? Can you go down? Can you go up? Can you go forwards? Oh. Okay, so concentrate on it. But yeah, if it's not falling, you're not challenging yourself enough. So this is, you do really want to find your limits. Ooh, might roll away. So that's always step one for learning any stall. So you could learn it here. You could learn there. Okay? Step one is place it there. Try and challenge yourself. Try and keep that balance. Second step is you want to throw and catch it there. That is a lot trickier. So, like any time you're trying to catch something, the higher you throw, the more you need to absorb the impact. So my recommendation is you want your throw to go just a teensy tiny bit above where you want it to land. So you just need to do a small movement to cushion that. So just a little throw. Try and cushion that impact. Okay. If this is too challenging, you can practice on the back of your hand. But this is a great stall for all contact jugglers. You really want to get this down on both sides. This side lets me down. Well, I let myself down on that side. I'm in control. I need to spend some more time practicing that left arm in an elbow stall. But yeah, so step one, place it there, balance. Step two, throw and catch. Then the third step is rolling it into position. So, starting in your hand, I'm going to try and roll along to catch it on your elbow. I'm going to just change back to my actual contact ball. It's a lot easier for me because I'm used to the weight of this, but heavier things will be easier. Now, there's a couple of ways that I think I like to think about this. One way of trying to achieve this trick is you can try and isolate the ball. I don't expect you to isolate this perfectly, but if we think about keeping that ball in the same place and moving our arm along underneath it, is one way you can think of trying to get that stall to work. The other way that I'd say you can think about this is starting with almost a straight arm and trying to roll it down. Now, as you can see, when I do that, there is this momentum going, and I have to try and stop that momentum somehow. So that's with my body. I move my body down to try and stop that. So I want you to really try and remember that little process though, because you can use that to learn your stall anywhere. So say I wanted my elbow stall on here, I can place it there. Challenge myself trying to keep it there. I can then do a throw. Until I can catch it there, and then a roll until I can stall it there. So it's definitely it's definitely challenging stuff, but you can learn a lot of cool stuff by doing this. And remember, anything that's really hard, and if you choose to put some time into it and get it, that can be really impressive, okay? Because then when anyone else tries it, they can see how hard that is. That's where you find something interesting that other people don't do. If you can find something, put a bit of time into it, learn it, that really can become your niche thing that no one else does, and you can be the master of. Then other people can ask you about how do you do that? That's crazy. And then you're like, well, I just practiced it for 10 hours a week for a few months, and then I got it. And if you're a juggler, you're like, yeah, that's how it works. That's cool. That's where we're at. All right. Last thing. I just wanted to spread the love, give you guys some different things. So, I don't know who has juggling clubs here, but I thought I would give you some ideas of some juggling or some balance stuff. Now, if you don't have a juggling club, you can do a lot of things that you can do with a juggling club with something like a wooden spoon or a big plastic utensil. Please don't use anything sharp for this stuff unless no, just don't do it. Even I'm not juggling my knives at the moment. I mean, let's be sensible during this lockdown, all right? As I say, waving a club around, but just some ideas. Balancing. Whenever you're trying to balance an object, look at the top of the object. You can start with your fingertips, and if it's tipping over, you move under it, like this. Wow. Oh, try and keep it under control as I look at myself in the camera. Okay. Balance. Once again, you could balance it on different parts of your body. You could be the person who does the really dope balances on their inside elbows. There is someone who does some really cool stuff with this. So believe me, you can spend a lot of time playing with this. Let's look at a couple of more difficult tricks. This one is good with bottles as well, is a flip. So, you're going to want to push it up, and you need to change your focus from the end of the object, or that you were looking at. You want to see that's coming in, but as soon as you can flip your focus to what's going to become the new top and save that, that's how you're going to balance it. So you need to swap. Once you can see you're going to catch it, you now focus on the top. So I'm really catching that with my periphery vision, because my focus is going to the new top. Okay. Now, if you've got space, balancing objects on your head, it's where it's at. It's what you want to do with your life. You're going to get that. But it's going to take that time. And now, a tricky thing with the club, when you're balancing on your head, is trying to look at the very top of it, because you can't see it because of this fat bit. So, you got to use your imagination. 3 places you can balance on your face: chin, nose, forehead, eyeball. No, I only said 3 eyeballs, a joke, but a lot of kids love to do that. So, you can balance on your forehead. I would say chin is good to start with, unless if you've got a big hairy chin like me, it gets a bit harder, believe it or not. So, nose, definitely want to be careful of your pretty nose. Forehead. Forehead, I found the hardest, but I put a lot of time into that because that's the best spot if you want to learn to juggle while balancing an object on your head. Because if you're doing that, the object's not in your way of your juggling pattern, so you can see that very tippy top. But anyway, jumping ahead, let's just try and balance this on our heads to start with. So, let's go. I might demonstrate with the wooden spoon on the nose. What's going to be important is making sure it's straight up and down. This is hard to judge to start with, but you get the hang of it, or you can have an outside eye to tell you what's straight. My advice to start with when you're learning to juggle balance objects on your face is, first step, move your feet, walk around under it. Once you start getting comfortable with that, work your way up your body trying to stop your feet from moving. So you try and stop your feet from moving, you move your whole body. Then when you can stand still, then you try and keep your knees still. Move from your hips, your upper body. Once you get that under control, maybe your chest, until you are getting smaller and smaller body parts to control that. So, let's just do a quick recap. We did the juggling W. We looked at some dope 3-ball drills for your 5-ball pattern. Mills Mess. We touched the last step of that, so hopefully you're going to get the hang of that. We did some contact juggling stalls. We did some club balance. And that, my friends, brings me to the end of the Juggling and Manipulation class for April the 17th. So, thank you for watching. Remember, there's heaps of other classes at the Circus Hub that you should check out. The Circus Fit. You got handstands. You got stretching. You got kids. We got classes for you. So, jump on the Circus Hub website. Hashtag Circus Hub Community. Instagram your life. We want to see what you're up to. Share it with us. Share it with everyone. I'm Michael. I hope you enjoyed Juggling and Manipulation. Stay safe. Stay home. Learn to juggle. Live life to the max.